Hello and welcome to Moms on a Mission. Today we're going to continue our discussion of the book, Battle for the American Mind. We also have a very special guest. She's a mom. She's a patriot. She's gone to battle with local law enforcement and military officials. She has some great information to share with us, so you don't want to miss it.
We introduced this book, Battle for the American Mind, on our first episode of Moms on a Mission. And so we're going to chronologically go through this book on our shows, and we would love for you to purchase the book and join us on this mission. David Goodwin says in the preface of this book that this book is more than education. He says that it's also about freedom, culture, and our families, and the silent assault on all three. He states, I volunteered in church leadership, serving Christian college students, many of whom lived out beliefs that were inconsistent with the Bible we'd studied together. They seemed shallow and unwilling or unable to connect the dots on big topics. Christians and secularists seem to live out the same story in their lives, more or less, myself included, in many ways. It was as if there were a powerful, invisible force pulling both groups in the same direction.
Yeah. So what was this invisible force? That's what David Goodwin was trying to figure out, one of the authors of the book. So he did a lot of research. And what he found out surprised him. He thought maybe it was something the progressive Marxist movement was adding to the curriculum or doing something to the curriculum, but that was not it. They were actually taking something out of the curriculum. And what they were taking out was a word, well, three words, Western Christian, and here we go, paideia. Don't say paideia.
Nope, that's not it. Paideia. We've practiced this, haven't we, Julie?
I've had a little practice. I've said it wrong a couple of times.
I was like, Julie, you're saying that wrong.
Yeah, and I think I spelled it wrong a few times. Thank goodness for spell check. But anyway, it's pivotal to this book.
Paideia.
So get used to hearing it. When you start reading the book, you're going to be reading a lot. So what is paideia? Well, David Goodwin really does a great job telling us what it is. So let's read it in his words. Paideia is made up of ideas, presumptions, beliefs, affections, and ways of understanding that define us. Everyone's paideia is shaped during childhood. Like DNA determines our physical attributes, paideia determines our cultural attributes. And you probably didn't hear about Western Christian paideia. You never heard that term.
No, I haven't.
I've never heard of it. It's because it was buried intentionally by the Marxist progressive movement. So if it's new to you, it was new to us.
Yeah.
But it's like an aha moment. Like
it is.
When I read it, I was like, okay, that's okay. Like the authors, it made sense. Yeah.
And really, when you think about it, like Julie was mentioning, it comes from the Greek and Romans, but really everybody has a paideia. So India has a paideia, Europe has a paideia. Paideia is just like these glasses. Like these glasses help me read, right? So I put them on and it's a lens through which I look at words. I also could have glasses to help me see to drive, like long distance, right? So it's those lenses that help me to see. So it's a lens that develops at a very young age, because let's face it, kids are like sponges. They learn languages at a very young age. They can learn language more easily. And so that was capitalized on. And so they were focusing on the educational system, thinking, if I can get to the kids, the heart of the kids, you can get to the heart of the nation.
Yes.
And that is what the whole game was about. It was intentional. It was systematic, and it was a heist, a progressive heist to take over the education and ultimately the culture of our nation, because there's nobody like us.
We are an exceptional country.
Yeah. But yet this heist has caused us to become more and more like socialist countries.
Yeah. And Western Christian paideia is not a new idea.
No.
Our forefathers, this is how they were educated.
That's right.
They were educated with Western Christian paideia. It built the country, and then it's been systematically taken out for the last 100 years. So it wasn't like it just happened, when COVID started. Right. It didn't happen in the night. Everybody says 1960s, crazy times. It didn't happen in the 1960s. It goes back even further. It's just this little, I guess, if you will, for lack of a better term, a drip,
yes,
slowly taken out. Well, we didn't really even notice it.
No.
But then a few years ago, we were like, whoa, what happened?
And you think, why are they toppling over statues? Why are they burning down the city? Well, it's because they were taught to hate America. I mean, very subtly, but
Yes.
now not so subtly
Not so
now.
subtly.
Yeah. And I also wanted to just say that this paideia thing, the lens, it teaches you, the Western Christian paideia teaches you how to think.
Yes.
So not what to think. So that's critical thinking at its very best. It teaches you how to think. And really the paideia is the affections of the heart, right? Like it's teaching you, when your child graduates from high school or college and they start going out on their own, where they are not knowing just the difference between right and wrong, but this Western Christian paideia causes them to long for and to want the right over the wrong. So it's not about the mind, it's about the heart. And if you can get to the heart of the child, you can get to the heart of the nation.
Yeah, for sure. And I just one thing I want to say about critical thinking is that is also so important for our students to take out the critical thinking piece, because that's where if you can't think for yourself, you lose your ability to be free.
Right.
You take out critical thinking, you destroy the country.
Absolutely.
And we've always been a country who people admire for our critical and analytical thinking.
That's right.
So this is so important. Paideia.
Get used to it. Paideia.
Get used to it. So we want to challenge you to read this book, and we're going to help you. We want to give away some copies of Battle for the American Mind. So we have 2 free copies to give away. And if you are the first 2 people to email us at momsonamission53@gmail.com.
Be fast. Be quick.
We're going to send you a free copy of the book. That's momsonamission53@gmail.com. One more time, momsonamission53@gmail.com.
And really quick, before we go, I'd love to show you a quick segment video from Pete Hegseth. And he's talking about the premises of these book, and he's kind of summarizing what we've talked about here. So let's go look at that now.
Pete Hegseth is with me. He's got a new book. It is called Battle for the American Mind. He's here right now. This book is all about progressives infiltrating education. That's what it's about, isn't it?
It is exactly what it's about. It's a 100-year progressive takeover completely of the educational pipeline. It's the hidden history of K through 12 education that I never learned and most of our viewers never learned. You know why? Because progressives write the history. They write the textbooks. Ronald Reagan bad, FDR good. Automatic, across the board, you're getting one-sided view of what is considered worthy of being taught to kids. And part of any recovery, the first step to recovery is understanding the depth of your problem. And it is the type of, it's so deep that digging out now requires a total reorientation of how we consider educating our kids. And that's why David Goodwin and I, my co-author, focus so much on the solutions as well. This is not just a rah-rah, here's what's bad. This is, here's how bad it is, and then here's what you can do about it as a parent or a grandparent.
Well,
I love this video and how Pete explains what the book is about. And I love that it's not just about what's wrong with America and how we got here, but it's truly inspiring and offers hope because he provides solutions towards the end of the book. And so that's what I really love is that he's a former military individual, Ivy Leaguer, quite accomplished.
Yes.
And he gives ideas on how to quote unquote combat this.
Yes, he does a great job. And it's very exciting to have solutions because we've been hearing about a lot of problems over the last several years. I've even heard my husband say, I hear the problems. You're telling the problems. What about solutions?
Yes.
And that's where, Pete Hegseth and David Goodwin are so great, the way they map this book out.
Yeah.
So you'll want to read to the end
because
it's a little hard in the beginning
right?
Because you're learning a lot that you recognize because you lived it.
Right.
And then they give you a roadmap to hopefully success.
Yes.
Hopefully success. So,
and it won't happen overnight.
No,
as they've said, I mean, it's
term.
It's going to take some time because when you think about how we got here, it was over 100 years.
Yeah.
So they weren't, when they first started implementing this, it wasn't like they started, burning down buildings. It took time to change the heart of the nation.
That's
and so
right.
this will take time as well.
Yeah. So one more reminder, be the first 2 to email us today and we'll give you a copy of Battle for the American Mind for free. And that is momsonamission53@gmail.com. And also we want you to visit our website. It's momsonamission.net. You'll find more information about our podcast. Lots of great information there.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
momsonamission.net.
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 Now we're going to turn our attention to a mom who's actively been fighting this battle. Our guest is presently a law student at Villanova University. She was a teacher and a curriculum developer. Additionally, she has been an educational consultant and an advocate, as well as a member of the New Jersey School Board Association. She recently has appeared twice on the Tucker Carlson Show, taking her message to a national platform. Please welcome Angela Redding.
Angela, welcome to Moms on a Mission. We're so glad to speak with you today. Just first off, just tell us what happened. What's your story?
Well, thank you so much for having me. So I'm just going to preface with the fact that the story, when I tell it, is going to sound unbelievable, but everything is backed by facts and documents. And for your listeners, they would be able to access that information. But I have to preface with that because when I say it out loud, even myself, it's hard to believe.
Mm-hmm.
So this all started in November of 2022. So in November, I went to what's called like math night at the upper elementary school in my kids' district. My two kids at the time were 6 and 7, and my husband, and we were really excited.
Sure.
As soon as we walked into math night, there was an entire wall covered with very colorful posters. And from a distance, like you wouldn't think anything like it, but it was right in the beginning, like right at the front of the school. So they wanted everyone to see it.
Mm-hmm.
The closer you got, you realize, oh my goodness, like what are these posters? Most of the posters contained various sexuality flags, flags for gender identification and things like that, which my kids don't even know what that is.
Right.
What was most concerning were the words. So not only would they have a flag, but underneath the flag, they'd have words like polysexual, pansexual, asexual, a long list of words that I actually had to look up myself. And my 7-year-old was curious about what these terms meant. I immediately was like, move away, let's keep walking.
Well, I just want to speak to the fact that there are flags. Like, I mean, how would the kids know what flag to draw?
That's a good question. And before I finish the story, I'm glad you asked that, because I was curious too, because I, as an elementary school teacher, there's just no way these kids knew how to spell these words or even perfectly draw the flags. When you have a poster that has like 15 to 20 identifications, like how would you memorize all these flags? So I was told that the kids were able to access the internet to look all of these things up. So you had elementary students looking up words like polysexual, looking at the definition, looking at the flags, and getting the spelling for the words. And for your listeners or your viewers, just look up some of these words. I know that they like to gaslight, and I've been told these words just mean love. These words just mean like they're like, Angela, these words just mean like attraction. And I'm like, but I'm looking at the definition right now, and that's not what this like.
It's a war of narrative. So, they're trying to change the definition from reality.
They're lying.
Yeah.
They're lying.
They've said, Angela, you're looking up antiquated definitions.
Oh,
I'm like,
wow.
So I provided the first 3 things that popped up in a Google search. I said, these can't be antiquated because these are what the kids access. When I typed in these words, this is what came out. So the words are the words.
That's right.
That's right.
Well, has anybody apologized?
Oh, no. Wait till you hear the rest of it. So immediately I was like, okay, I need to talk to someone. So I contacted one of the parents of the posters that I saw, because I'm like, wow, maybe they don't know their kids created something like this. I contacted the superintendent, and I also contacted a board member. All 3 of them told me pretty much the same thing. Kids have First Amendment rights to put whatever they want on the walls. That I need to accept this in the public school system because my kids are going to learn about it on the playground, and they're going to learn about it on social media. Like, so they made me feel that I was some like traditionalist who, you know, like some right-wing bigot who just wasn't up with the times. And immediately I was like, no,
and let's reiterate, this is elementary school, right? Elementary school.
Yeah.
Kids from 5, 4 up to maybe 10, 11. Is that correct?
So my school district, the local school district, is preschool all the way up till 6th grade. Now,
Okay.
the posters, just to be honest, the posters were created by the 4th, 5th, and 6th graders. However, when it's hanging on the walls, for someone as early as a preschooler could have seen those posters.
Well, let's be honest,
so
it's not appropriate for that age either. So
no,
it just
it's not.
doesn't even.
No.
Yeah,
It's
I
abusive.
know that.
Right.
I know that, but people are like, Angela, these were 4th graders. I'm like, I don't even care if it was the 6th graders. Like, at no
Right.
point in time was this
It's
appropriate.
ridiculous.
This is
It's
not
absolutely, it's
appropriate.
abusive. Let's just call it what it is. It's abusive.
Well, when I saw what you had said before, which I think is such a great point, you said, I haven't even told my 7-year-old daughter about sex yet. And now I'm having to tell her about polysexual. I've never looked up those words, thank goodness. But that is just tragic to me.
Yeah,
Tragic.
it really, and like my 7-year-old who recently turned 8, anyone that knows my kid, she is in a gifted and talented program, very high achiever. There's
Yes.
nothing that gets past her. So I couldn't just say to her something like, oh, it means like friendship, like, because she's immediately going to want to look it up, get a book about it. So I had to have really tough conversations with my child that I really wasn't ready
No,
to
they
have.
forced you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, so I've heard everything. Like, just tell your daughter it meant something different. Like, okay, that's not how that works for all kids.
No.
So what I did was in New Jersey, somebody created a Facebook page during COVID called New Jersey Fresh Faced. And it's for like-minded parents who just sometimes want to vet about what's happening in the public education system. It was originally for COVID, but now it's for everything, curriculum. So
Okay.
I posted on Facebook and I said, this is what happened. I think this is wrong. It's perverse. I explicitly said that all individuals are deserving of love and respect, that this isn't about people. Like, I have no issues with polysexuals. Like, do you? My only issue was the age appropriateness of the content on the walls of an elementary school. And what resulted from me posting on Facebook is where the story becomes unbelievable. And I'll let you ask questions. It's essentially, I had the U.S. military, the school district, Homeland Security, the prosecutor's office, the state police. I'm talking the entire federal and state government targeting me for my speech. It's all in writing. Very silly. They put everything in emails.
Wow.
So
that is interesting.
yeah.
And they probably didn't know you were a law student at Villanova.
Right? Surprise.
I don't know if, I'm sure some, maybe, I don't know. Yeah. I have a reputation in my town because I was a school board member on the regional school board at the time. Okay. I've always been very vocal. I've always been an advocate. So I do think people knew that if you were going to come after me, I was going to be a formidable opponent. Like, I wasn't just going to lay down. I don't know if they knew that I, was going to get up when they knocked me down, right? Because what they did to me was so severe and so intense that I think they really thought that I was just going to cower and like hide in a corner and cry somewhere. And I'm not saying I didn't have a day or two. I gotta be honest, right? I'm just a human
What's
being.
a normal reaction to that? Like, what was your reaction to that?
So just so everyone knows, what happened was, and now we've learned through documents, military officials started posting online stating that my post was a security concern, and they were activating security forces and multiple state and federal agencies. And then I get emails to see that they reported me, like I said, to Homeland Security. They had the police chief involved. The police chief called the Facebook admin and essentially said, if you don't take down her Facebook post, kids are going to die. Like,
what?
Their argument was, because I criticized the school, that I was inciting right-wing extremists to come kill children, which is complete moral blackmail. It's based in nothing.
Lies.
It's absolutely absurd. But people believed it.
Yeah.
Because when you have the military releasing statements, the school district released a statement to the public saying that they were taking this very seriously and working with local law enforcement. So people were like, oh my God, like, is there a threat? There was no threat. And I look forward to the federal lawsuit that's it should be filed this week.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, the whole world will be able to see the conspiracy. And I think people's minds are going to be blown when they see what this fake narrative that they created and how many people believed it.
Well,
My life
actually,
became, go ahead.
well, I was just going to say it's abuse of power. Like it's abusing a First Amendment right.
Yeah, and I just have a follow up to that, just to make sure our listeners understand if they haven't followed the story like Miriam and I have. Again, what was the complaint again? Can you reiterate that? What were the police saying to you? What was the accusation from, that would merit such a strong response? It's crazy. So one more time, go over that. Why?
Yeah. I'm gonna simplify, because I'm sure, if someone hasn't followed it like me, or if you haven't read the news. So this is what happened. There was a military official named Chris Schilling. Never met him. He has no children in my school district. What he did was, on the regional school district, which is the middle school and high school, we've now learned through documents, started sending emails to the No Place for Hate committee about my social media posts, saying she's gonna cause right-wing extremists to go hurt those elementary kids. We need to do something. So he starts rallying up people at the regional district in another town. When that wasn't effective for him, because he was using his personal email, in the emails with these parents, he says, I am now working with the military because the commander of the base is my neighbor and they're supporting us.
Wow.
So then in emails, he starts going to the military and he's saying, we need to do something about these emails. She's going to have right-wing extremists come hurt kids, like making all these outlandish accusations. The scary part is that high-ranking military officials and police didn't say, what? Like, no, they were like, yeah, this is wrong. I mean, I have emails where we have people from counterterrorism units writing, her post really gets under my skin. So you could see behind the scenes, you have military, police, counterterrorism units, all making personal judgments about me as a person and my conservative and religious beliefs, and used that, the pretext of there was going to be like a right-wing extremist to target the school, as why the post needed to come down. Once the police got the post down by essentially telling the Facebook admin, right? For a Facebook group, somebody runs the group. Once he gets that done, he sends an email to everyone in the military and says, I got her post down. Let's try to get more down.
Let's try to get more down. Wow.
Yeah, he's like, I'm going to actively try to get more down. So this is all an email, which to me is really scary, because as a law student, as a board member, you got to be careful what you put in emails, right? You just,
for sure.
So for them doing this and acting just with impunity, I think they felt they were untouchable, because to put these kind of things in email just shows you how emboldened they were. They didn't just stop there. So my post was already taken down by the Facebook admin group. I started immediately saying, this is unconstitutional, what you're doing to me. They don't stop. They send it, like I said, Homeland Security, the Burlington County Prosecutor's Office. They start talking about other social media posts that I've made that are unrelated. It was absolute lunacy, insanity. My family felt so unsafe. Like, they created a petition. They created a petition against me, calling me an extremist. Like, you had a military official creating and sharing a petition against a citizen, calling me an extremist and saying that I needed to resign from the school board and on the regional board. And people fought me for this, and they say you shouldn't have given in. And I say to them, you weren't living in my house.
That's
like,
right.
I had to pull my kids from school. Like,
wow.
We were scared every moment of the day, because they were talking about right-wing extremists. They were targeting me personally.
Absolutely.
And I felt unsafe in my own house. So, and also resigning from the school board allowed me to use the judicial system to hold individuals accountable, right? Because if I was still on the board, there would have been certain rules of who you can involve in litigation. So, it's hard to imagine that something like this could happen in the United States of America. But
yeah, I was thinking
say
same.
it sounds kind of similar to some socialistic countries we know, that target,
Right.
any dissenting voices. There's not freedom of speech there. And I guess that can be so confusing, to Americans because, we do have amendments and we do have rights on paper, but it doesn't seem to be implemented at certain levels. And it's almost like there's this police force and this attack against what could happen. And, we could go down a million roads with that comment, but I guess I'm just so in shock that that this
I'm in
happened.
shock. I'm saddened. I'm angry. And like you said, we have protections in our Constitution. And so I am so thankful that you're pushing back, Angela. It's important for you. It's important for other moms. It's important for the citizens all over this country that you're being brave and going out and pushing back. So I want you to know we support you.
Thank you for
here in Oklahoma, Moms on a Mission. And anything we can do to help support you, I know I'm signed up to do that.
Yes, me too.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, just because our kids go to the same school and what we've dealt with is nothing compared to what you've dealt with for sure. But what would you say? I don't know if you have any moms who have aligned with you. I mean, that was a question I had.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Okay. And then
good.
secondly, what would you say to moms who don't want to be targeted and they don't want their kids to be targeted? And so they're, especially in other schools that maybe it's not to that level, but they don't want to be targeted. Like, what would you say to embolden them and to help them be more courageous to stand up to things like this?
So that's really hard. I mean, I do have to say, if you really want to fight the system, like I do, you're going to take some hits from people that you actually shouldn't care about what they think. But not everyone has that ability, right? Maybe you work for the state or maybe you have a job. So I understand not everybody can be like me and be out forward facing and say, do what you do to me. But I would say for the moms who want to make a change or dads who want to make a change or anyone and try to skirt that line, I would say instead of like, let's say that you're seeing, I'll just use posters on the wall that are sexual in nature. Don't bring up the issue of the sexual nature of the posters. Say, you know what? I'm noticing that there's a lot of things on the wall not relevant to our curriculum. Is there any policies that we can put in place that everything that's hanging on the walls is related to our specific standards?
That's good.
And then,
good point.
yeah,
Great point.
so that's what I've been trying to help people write policies that wouldn't necessarily, raise eyebrows, like no more LGBT stuff on the wall or something like that.
Right.
I think, or having a process that before we put up anything that could be deemed controversial, it needs board approval.
That's
things
great.
like that, where you're putting everything into the umbrella. And I always argue this. I said, if I saw a Donald Trump poster hanging in the school, I'd be concerned, right? I would. I mean, I don't think our elementary students need to have things on the wall like that. This isn't like I'm targeting a group of people. I just think what's hanging on our walls, what's in our libraries, all of these things have to be focused and targeted on our academic standards. This is how public education has been since the creation of it. This has always been a limited forum. This isn't like a free zone. For some reason, people are under the impression that schools are these like free speech zones where we have libraries with everything and we teach everything. It's never been that way.
Well, really, it's an agenda. I mean, it's purely intentional. It's agenda to get the heart of our children, because once you have the heart of our children, you have the heart of the nation and you have the culture of the nation. If you can instill that culture in a young child's heart, then you have them, toppling over statues and burning down cities. If you teach them these things, at a young age. So, I mean, sadly, that's what's happening.
I would also recommend, and this is actually kind of controversial for even people who align with me, I do not personally believe in using rhetoric like pedophile or grooming and groomer. I don't fault those who use those terms. I just feel like they're more harmful for the movement than they are helpful, because when we use those terms, they use sound bites against us and they make us look like we, don't have an argument. And I feel like, so for me, I try to focus on words that are very based in fact and law and try to make my arguments that way, because I don't
That's
want to
good.
get the other side.
Yeah.
Yeah. And,
I-
but
I
again,
I think that's wisdom, because I think that war of narrative, they use words and it becomes more emotional instead of becoming factual. And I really like that. I think that's really a great idea. And it really aligns with your other idea of just going after policy and not maybe a specific topic.
Yeah, I think you have to keep emotion out of it. The
Absolutely.
emotion just drives other things that we wouldn't want to see. So tell me one more time too, if I asked this already, excuse me, but what is the status on this case that you've got going on?
so there's a lot of different things. There's state level claims that people have already been served, and then we have a federal complaint that should be filed this week is the
Okay.
goal. And I'm happy because it can finally be public. I mean, all the documents I've received so far are through public document requests, so I could share them, and I've actually shared them. They're public records, but I'm looking forward to have this before the judicial system and for the world to see what happened
Yes.
behind the scenes, and so that hopefully change can be made. Because what happened to me, I can't be the only person, but I do think I am one of the only people who has said no.
Mm-hmm.
I want as soon as this happened, I started filing documents because I was, I'm in law school. So I was like,
perfect.
I know,
Yeah.
I was like, I know I can get access to these government records.
Yeah.
So immediately I was like, I need documents. I started getting documents, and I don't know how many parents would know to do that.
Not many.
No.
So yeah, so I cannot be the only person that has had something similar, been targeted by the government. I just don't know. Those people may not know, right? They may don't know
Sure.
who was behind what was happening to them. So I hope to shed some light on it. I hope to go before the House Judiciary Committee. I've reached out to them. I
Great.
want them to hear my story. There needs to be laws and policies passed so this doesn't happen to anyone again. I mean, this is this is a real problem in our country, and I can't be the only one.
No.
I had a quick question for you. You mentioned curriculum. Have you had any issues with the curriculum in the elementary or upper elementary division at your schools?
So New Jersey, unfortunately, under Governor Murphy, has made a hard turn. So I left public education in 2019 to go to law school because I saw what was happening, and I said, there's just no way I'm going to sustain this career with my opinions. I'm too vocal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in New Jersey, Governor Murphy has revamped our health curriculum that has kids from kindergarten on learning about gender and sexuality, telling kids they can pick their gender. For instance, in second grade, the lessons that they're supposed to be taught is you tell people that mostly boys have penises.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I've been really fighting against the health curriculum. However, at least in New Jersey, you can opt out of health.
Oh, okay, good.
So that's what I tell parents. I say, it sucks, but you can opt out of those lessons.
Mm-hmm.
Governor Murphy recently passed another law that requires gender and sexuality in all subject areas from K to 12 with no opt out. So that's what I'm most concerned with is we now have this broad law that says, go ahead, school districts, do what you want with it, but you need to do it. And I think what I'm trying to teach parents is I'm making them aware of the law, and I'm giving them the tools and strategies to get on top of it. So whether it be help your school board pass a transparency policy. So they have to follow the law, right?
Right.
But parents should be able to see how they're following the law. So what are you doing in kindergarten for sexuality in math? I'd love to see that. Put that online. Like, let me know what that looks like. Let me know the days you're going to teach it. Because if I can't opt out, I'm going to keep my kids home.
Absolutely.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah. And so I'm helping people write policies to bring to their school boards. The second thing that I'm helping people do is to send emails to the district citing FERPA and other laws where they can say, I have a right to look at lessons and curriculum, and I would like to do that. Please
Angela,
give me time to do that.
This makes me want to ask for all the moms listening, how can they get in touch with you? Like if they have issues in their school, legal issues, legal questions. I know I'm kind of throwing this out there, but I'm just thinking it would be great if, maybe they could ask you a question and they could, get an attorney and obviously work with an attorney, but how could they get a hold of you?
Yeah, thank you for saying that, because there's weird rules. I can't give legal advice, but I certainly can I can provide you with information and
Okay.
help you work with an attorney. But I certainly can share laws and policies that are all public knowledge and explain it, give you that information. So right now, people can find me on Facebook. It's just Angela Redding. If you message me, I'm very quick at messaging back, or on Twitter. I have a blog, but I just started rewriting about that. So I don't really have like anything set up because I'm just like, mom, like,
Yeah,
we get it. We get it.
Yeah. Like I'm not like, but I'm hoping moving forward to I'm building up my blog and website I want it to be like a one-stop shop for parents, hopefully beyond New Jersey, where they can read what's happening, get some ideas of what I've done and what they can do moving forward. But Facebook, I would say I'm really good at messaging people back. I think you guys, I don't know who messaged me on Facebook. Yeah. For right now, that's what I'm doing. And I love helping. I mean, this is what motivates me to get up every morning, because like I said, if I would be lying to you, if I said that I was like happy this whole time, this like crushed me.
I'm sure it did.
I spent my whole career in public education, and now I work and work on public education law, and to like resign from the school board and have my name be tarnished like this, I'm still struggling with that. So if anyone's listening or watching, I might come off strong, but I'm a mom.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's hard. And it's very, very hard. But it's like moms like you and the people who reach out to me and say they have my back from all over the country that remind me that this like I'm not alone, and that what I'm doing is right. Because you start to say like, my life is over. Like, what am I going to do? And so I appreciate time with you.
This gives me goosebumps just thinking about it, because this is what moms do. We stick together. We're mama bears, and we lock arms and we move forward together. We're a village, and we won't stop, because you don't want to mess with our babies.
That's right.
It's true in the animal kingdom, and it's true, with us. So, lastly, I just wanted to throw out a tease. You did mention you were writing a book. So when do you think listeners could get a hold of that?
Yeah. So like I said, I'm in my last semester of law school. So my friend and law school partner, we're working on a book about, I think the title, like we're kind of going back and forth, but it's focusing on more called the silenced majority, because you always hear about the silent majority, but the conversation really has to be the silenced majority, because it's not that we don't want to talk. It's not right. It's because when we do, this is what happens. And I'm hoping my story in the book, and I'm reaching out to other parents that have experienced some similar things, will expose what's happening, but also give strategies to counteract. So, because there's a lot of times like people will message me and say, I was talking online and then someone said this to me, and I'm like, say this back, so that takes a lot of time for me to constantly be doing that. So I'm hoping the book will give people arguments if they are getting attacked for speaking their views. That's really what I want to do, because the other side is organized.
Yes.
They're vicious. They use moral blackmail. Like if you don't go along with it, kids will commit suicide, kids will die. I mean, they use this rhetoric that just silences everybody. And
I noticed that their rhetoric is in sync. Like you can look at it on the news channels. Like I know Tucker's very good about doing that, like pulling off clips of multiple news channels, and they're using the same words. So I think that is great, because I think your book will help us get in step and in sync, and we'll have our own narrative, which is the truth.
Yeah. And I don't know. He didn't, I don't know him, but have you ever followed like Chris Rufo? I know he's like hated by everybody on the left, but Chris Rufo has done a great job. I look at a lot of his reporting and what he's been doing, exposing what's happening to schools. And I think his counter arguments are always on point. And they're factual. Like to me, you can't just be like, you're a groomer,
Right, right.
You need to have like an argument against what they're doing why it's wrong and why your perspective is better for all kids and is not bigoted, right? Because
well, Angela, I
that's what
appreciate
I
you getting our side on track. You're going to change the world. You are changing the world. And whatever you've been through is going to produce great results for other parents coming. Other parents are going to be facing this. Other parents have, and now they have a resource. So it's going to be a huge blessing for so many people. I'm so appreciative of you sharing your story with us today.
Thank you so much. We're all in this together.
Yes, we are, for sure. So we also want to hear from you. Email us at momsonamission53@gmail.com with your questions and comments, and we would love to hear from you. That's momsonamission53@gmail.com. You can also find us at momsonamission.net. That's momsonamission.net. Moms on a Mission is excited to partner with our friends at MyPillow. According to sleep experts and sleephealth.org, over 50 million Americans struggle to get a good night's rest. That's where MyPillow comes in. They make the best pillows, sheets, mattresses, and mattress toppers. Several years ago, I was having trouble falling and staying asleep due to neck and shoulder pain. Luckily, I heard an ad about MyPillow and decided to give it a try. After 3 or 4 days, I really began to feel a difference. I was sleeping better and my neck and shoulders felt so much better. MyPillow really does help you fall asleep faster and stay asleep longer. Moms on a Mission wants you to get a great night's rest too. Go to mypillow.com right now and use the promo code MISSION for up to 66% off your purchase. MyPillow products are made in America and have a 60-day money-back guarantee and lifetime warranty. Remember, go to mypillow.com, put in the special code MISSION for your special Moms on a Mission discount. Thank you and God bless.
Hey guys, it's Moms on a Mission here. Are you worried about your financial stability and protecting the money for which you worked so hard? The problem is stock market volatility and inflation. You may be wondering what you can do to preserve your family's wealth. We at Moms on a Mission encourage you to reach out to our friend Andrew Sorcini with Beverly Hills Precious Metals. Andrew is the expert in educating you to help you find the right balance of gold and silver for your family portfolio. He made it so easy for me to add precious metals to my financial investments. I simply mailed a check to Beverly Hills Precious Metals and my silver showed up on my doorstep a few days later. It was so easy. Go to bh-pm.com to save a little money and tell them that Moms on a Mission sent you. That's bh-pm.com. Don't wait. Protect your wealth today by going to bh-pm.com and tell them that Moms on a Mission sent you.